We're back in the magnificent Victorian high country.
I tell you what, it's bloody greasy.
There's great camping and cooking.
This campsite's pretty awesome, though. That is a winner.
And heaps to be explored.
There you go. Look at that.
But as always, not everything will go to plan.
Could you run the winch? Say. This is really a problem with my pump. The car just wants to keep cutting out on me. G'day guys, welcome back to Aussie Arovos, and even better than that, welcome back to an adventure with me and Sian. I've managed to get her to come away with me for a few days, so we've got some time to do some exploring here in the Victorian high country, and I think it's going to be an awesome time. Do you reckon?
Yeah, I hope so. I hope the weather holds off and stays like this.
We're hoping the weather holds out. It's good at the moment. We're starting here at Thompson Dam, which is in like the southern region of the Victorian high country, so north of Gippsland. I reckon without any further ado, we're gonna get stuck into it, and it's already in the afternoon. I think I've got a spot marked out for a camp, so we'll start making our way there via a couple little tracks, and yeah, should be a good day. All right, so we're gonna start heading to our first track now. Because it's sort of late in the day, the first camp I plan on going to isn't too far, and because of the weather conditions, hopefully the track's in pretty good nick too. It's pretty still dry, but we are expecting a big potential downpour tomorrow, so I'm interested to see how that's gonna affect the tracks. Who knows, we might end up in some strife, but we'll see. So this first track is either called Northeast Track or I believe CMF Track. So we'll get aired down and we'll get stuck into it. Now, I've actually just run the winch out because, and I always forget to do this, it's always a good idea to check that your winch is working before you actually go full driving, because you don't want to get caught in a bad decision thinking your winch is working, then you go to pull it out and it's not. Like in the case here, the winch itself is working, but I actually just realised the rope was all tangled up and I couldn't get it in and out. So I just had to mess around a bit there to actually get the rope to untangle. So little things like that, it's just peace of mind knowing that your winch is in working order before you go onto the track. I didn't ask her to do this, she's just gone and started picking up rubbish for some reason, but good on her. Back on the tracks. I've been thinking in the back of my mind too if we'll come across any fallen trees, because a couple of weeks ago we had these really intense winds and storms in Melbourne. So hopefully the management have had a chance to come out and clear all the tracks, and hopefully we shouldn't run into any big trees that'll block our path, because I've only got the little electric saw and it won't take out anything bigger than about a foot. That's probably pushing it, to be honest. The track's been pretty cruisy so far. A little bit of muddy stuff here. Nothing too sinister. Remember what I just said to the camera about trees down on the track? I don't know if that's across the track or not, but so we've come across a tree. Yeah, I don't think my little saw's going to get through that. This is what I was worried about. This might be something that we run into frequently these couple of days. So luckily we only just started the track and we can still turn around. I've got another spot in mind that we can go to instead, so let's do that. The fun part of any high country trail is trying to turn around if you have to. Good thing I allowed plenty of time to get to camp, because yeah, it's just the sort of things that delay your day.
We then headed down Merrington's track in search of a campsite for the night.
So yeah, this is Merrington's campground, and like they are nice little campgrounds, and these are the campgrounds that are designed to be super easy access, you know, bring your very stock four-wheel drive or even an all-wheel drive like a Subaru or an X-Trail or something, I imagine you could get down here. But I reckon we're going to go look for something a little bit more private and secluded anyway. Now I've opted to take a little alternate route into the Junction Hut campground, which crosses I'm pretty sure it's the Aberfeldy River. Yeah, so we'll get to do a little creek crossing, but I'm hoping there might actually be a campsite on the river edge there, which could be really nice too. Oh yeah, we've got a nice little creek crossing.
And crossing along the Aberfeldy River here, I think I could already see a potential campsite just up ahead.
Yeah, straight, little bit of left, hard left.
Not see a thing.
Down slowly. Yeah, good work. And then, yeah, perfect. And then once you get around, straighten up your wheels a bit. All right, now just down slowly from there.
Oh my God, almost died.
Sian's learning. It's pretty hard to see over the dash sometimes when you're like trying to turn down a hill, but he's doing a pretty good job. So this campsite's pretty awesome though.
Yeah,
We'll have a good suss and then we might end up staying here. It's pretty nice. Should have bought the togs. I forgot to bring me bathers. I thought it was going to be cold, but it's actually kind of mild today.
Swimming in your jocks.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I can do that too.
We quickly decided that this spot was far too good to pass up, so we got the car leveled out and then could begin setting up camp.
I love this camping setup. It's so easy. Made it so that the canopy door still opens with the awning. Good to go. All right, so the camp is set up. We were going to go to Junction Hut, but this spot was I was like, this is just too good. Let's just plonk right now. We'll check out Junction Hut tomorrow morning on our way through to some other tracks.
I could see some trout jumping around in the water, so I had to have a quick cast.
Well, the first bout of fishing unsuccessful. Because there's all these termites, the trout are like dancing around on the surface, jumping out and stuff. And I had one come and swipe at me lure a few times, but then he hasn't come back. So usually at these popular campsites, they can be a bit more timid as well. Tell you what, you got to be careful, guys. I was just poking around, having a look for some sticks and stuff to get a bit of a fire going. And I'm just sort of walking through the bush here. And if you're not paying attention, that's a mine. That's a mine shaft. I don't know how far down it goes. I don't have a rock. Not super deep, but you wouldn't want to fall down it because you'd be in a world of hurt if you landed the wrong way. So
I diced up some wood and got a little fire going, as we would need it for tonight's cooking. But I tell you what an awesome little spot we had perched here on the side of the Aberfeldy River.
all right, so it's that time of the night, and by the feedback we got from the last cooking segment in Tasmania, Sian's offered to help me do some more cooking again, which is fantastic because she's a far better cook than I am. And tonight what we're cooking is something wild that I've never heard of. So Sian, what are we making?
So basically what we're making tonight, it's called gulab jamun.
Yeah, so gulab jamun. So it's a dessert, and we haven't had dinner yet because this requires a bit of prior prep. So we're going to sort of make it, let it do its thing while we cook and eat dinner. Yep. And then when we finish dinner, it'll be ready to go.
Yep. So first I'm going to make the syrup. So basically what you need is equal parts sugar and water.
All right, so that's going in.
Yep. I'm just going to grab some handy water from our tank. And then basically what you need to do, depends on how much you make, obviously, as to how many of these you want to put in. But for this amount of sugar, you probably can go with like 3 or 4 cardamom pods. So what you want to do is basically just crush them a little bit, just to kind of so the flavour can kind of seep out into the syrup while it's cooking. Perfect, and now this can go on the fire and start reducing to become a bit of a syrup. All right, so while our sugar syrup is
I'll keep an eye on the syrup because I'm good like that.
Don't let it burn. While our sugar syrup's cooking, we can make the little dumplings. All right, so we've got our ghee. I just melted it because when you buy it off the shelf at room temperature, it's solid. So I've just melted some of that. That goes in there. And then we are going to use, for this time, I've opted to use some milk and a little bit of lemon juice to kind of sour it off a bit. So
and what is the consistency we're going for?
You want it to be like a sticky kind of dough. If that makes sense.
All right, just eyeball it, should be right.
Yeah, that's what I usually do.
So which bit's the gulab and which bit's the jamun?
You're testing my knowledge of Hindi too much now.
Is this the gulab, the little things?
Potentially.
Maybe. Already starting to form a dough.
It is quite sticky. All right, I reckon that should be pretty good. So we're gonna roll them into balls.
So what's that, like golf ball size, I'd say?
Yeah, that's a good reference.
Yeah, so golf ball size. All right, there's our syrup water.
Cool.
Which pretty much, as you say, it literally just looks like water, ever so slightly thicker.
Yeah. Now that that's reduced, we add rosewater syrup. So you want to put like 2 teaspoons, which, fun fact, these little bottles, the teaspoon measurement is 1 cup.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Next, we're going to fry the gulab.
For the gulab jamun, we are going to cook the dumplings in ghee, which is basically clarified butter. It's very commonly used in like Indian cuisine. It's just kind of like any other fat that you can use for frying.
It just allows to fry it.
Yeah.
Right, but without any flavours that would come with like your other oils.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's a sweet. You don't really want to use like a olive oil or something that's...
Right, yeah. Oh, don't lose it out the side.
Sorry.
That's expensive butter, that is, let me tell you. Look, this probably isn't like the most like basic dessert. It's more so it's something different. Yeah. And if you are feeling a bit, adventurous, yeah.
Cool, so I'm going to take a little tester and see how that cooks. Yeah, see how it bubbles quite quickly?
too much?
Probably too much. So I think the oil's cooled down a little bit. It will cool down a bit as well, obviously, when we put them in.
Yeah, it'll reduce the temperature when you put cold stuff in hot oil. So
we'll see if this is the right temperature. Yeah, so you get a little bit of bubbling, but not crazy amounts.
Ah.
See how they puff up a bit when they cook?
Oh, yeah. They're like enlarged golf balls now.
Now that they're like golden all over, I reckon we can pull them off. Oh, sorry.
Isn't it funny how in the bush you can make stuff better than... They look like roast potatoes. Pretty much next is to let these sit in the syrup for, well, John says the recipe actually says 3 hours ideally, but we're gonna have dinner and stuff, which will probably take like, you know, an hour, hour and a half. So these are just gonna be, we're gonna not keep them cooking, but keep them warm because they're best served warm. And we'll catch you after dinner when we're ready to eat these things pretty much. Exciting. I'm excited.
Yeah, me too.
Can't wait.
So keeping with the Indian theme for dinner, we cooked ourselves up a yellow curry, and once we were done with that, we were ready to get stuck into our gulab jamun.
All right. After eating our dinner, our gulab jamun is finally ready to eat. They look like they've absorbed all the syrup.
Quite a bit of it.
I reckon.
Yeah.
So they look like really like juicy and mushy and plump, and yeah, so I can't wait to taste one of these.
Yeah.
Now, we were discussing, once again, I've forgotten something that probably would have been a nice addition. We were going to go and buy Dixie cups, vanilla ice cream, because they're nice and small and can sit in the freezer. But sure enough, I forgot, and then we didn't go past another servo, so we didn't get them. So if you can, vanilla ice cream would probably be pretty ace with these as well. So just take a bite out of it.
Yeah.
Oh, they're quite dense actually.
They taste like the...
Wow.
Do you want some more sweet?
They're actually like, I expected it to be like too sweet.
Yeah.
But they're actually like nice.
Good.
I'm trying to in my head think of like what it's equivalent to. They're not like too sweet. They're soft. They got a little bit of like bite, a little bit of chew to them. They're not like fluffy all the way through like a cake. They're like denser. That is a winner.
Yeah?
Oh, they're awesome. Well, there you have it. Gulab jamun. In the famous words of Bob Marley, we're gulab jamun. Yeah, they're elite. I gotta eat another one. If you're a bit adventurous, if you can be bothered getting a few different little bit more niche ingredients, definitely worth a try because they taste awesome and very easy to do. As long as you've got a bit of time on your hands, no problems at all.
Yeah.
Bloody awesome. So I hope you enjoyed that one. Something different again. So I reckon we're gonna do some cleaning up now. Then we'll probably head on over to bed and then wake up in the morning. We've got a big day tomorrow, doing some exploring, some tracks and stuff. So we'll see you all then. All right, good morning. It is the next day. Did you have a good sleep?
Yeah, really good.
Yeah, I did as well. The rooftop tent's been so nice to sleep in. We're super warm and comfy in that, which was good. Didn't get too much rain, so I think it means we'll be all good for the tracks today, which is good. So yeah, I reckon we're gonna smash some brekkie quickly, pack up, and then we can get out there.
I still can't believe just how easy this new setup is between the freestanding 270 awning and the new rooftop tent. It is just such a breeze to set up and pack up camp.
All right, so we're gonna roll in out of camp. We're gonna head straight into this little muddy, rocky bonus line. Should be pretty straightforward, but we'll see how we go.
Between my good tyres and low pressures, and there was plenty of grip from the jagged rock, there was no issues with this little side track at all.
Oh, tight squeeze between the wattle trees. And if my maps are correct, then we should be popping down just into Junction Hut right now and cross the Aberfeldy River. All right, so we're now crossing the Aberfeldy River again to go across and see Junction Hut.
Luckily for us, the water level was nice and low, so did not pose any issue, and Sian did a great job driving across.
All right, so we've come to check out Junction Hut, which is a pretty popular little hut. I'm not 100% sure the history of it, but it's pretty like, compared to a lot of the other huts, it's pretty new looking. Yeah, we'll have a look inside anyway.
Shed.
So yeah, Junction Hut. This is definitely, if you have to get out of the weather, this is a good one to stay in. Like, it's very well protected. Obviously, it's built like a shed, still steel frame and everything, all iron, Corrie iron on the outside. So no, it's a pretty cool one.
I didn't think it was the hut because I thought it looked too new. I thought it was like some little historic old hut.
Yeah, so that's what they all originally, pretty much a lot of the high country huts, they used to be old historic, like built in the 1900s.
Yeah.
And then a lot of them have either been fell down because of like storms, or they've been burnt in bushfires. Some of them just degraded over time, and so they've rebuilt a lot of them.
Yeah.
So just had a quick look at Junction Hut, but we're going to keep moving on. I've got a couple other more places I want to look at. So we're back across the Aberfeldy River and then onto Williamson Spur Track. All right, we're now turning onto Army North Track, which will take us down to Store Point, which there's a hut there, as well as some historical stuff which I want to check out. All right, so pretty easy track, especially now because the conditions are good. First gear low, just cruising on down. And now, I believe in front of us here is Store Point Hut. Yeah, it looks a bit more like a shack, this one.
Lloyd's Hut.
Oh, Lloyd's Hut, sorry.
Established 1987.
Sorry, Lloyd's Hut it is, sorry, not Store Point. Straight away, this is probably what you're thinking of when you thought hut. So compared to where we just were at Junction Hut, that thing looks like a house compared to this. But yeah, pretty cool little, I'd almost call it more like a shack, but it's pretty cool. We're gonna head to the base of, I believe it's Middle Star Track, because I want to go look at the Morning Star Walk. I think it's a couple K walk, and it actually takes you to some old, there's an old like mining battery with like an old water wheel and stuff, which I read about online, which we want to have a look at. I think it's like a, yeah, not too long of a walk. It is raining a tiny bit at the moment, but we've got our raincoats, so it should be right. Of course, I decided to bring the fishing rod with me, and the track's not even close to the creek, so I'm just stuck with it now. Hopefully at the end there should be a creek there. Holy, that's huge. That's actually massive.
Yeah.
I didn't expect it to be that big. There you go, look at that. So we made it to the Morning Star water wheel. It's actually pretty impressive in person. It's actually huge. Like, this thing was built in somewhere between 1905 and 1910, so it's definitely over 100 years old. And it was used as part of all of the gold operations along the Donnelly's Creek here, which apparently they found like 26,000 ounces of gold across the Donnelly's Creek, which is absolutely huge. So this was part of the operation, and yeah, it's the apparently the last one of its kind still standing in Victoria. So if you want to see something like this, it's the only place you can come. All right, so we've continued another 500 meters beyond the water wheel, and this is the old boiler as well down here. All right, so we've come to the Crinoline steam engine. Now, Crinoline was actually the name of the company that did all the mining here on the Morning Star Creek, and it was the biggest mining operation on the Morning Star Creek. So this boiler obviously drove a flywheel and then ran the crusher, which they used to mine the quartz. And this is what's left of it. I was saying to Sian, it's crazy to think that they managed to even get all this stuff out here. It would have come disassembled on horseback probably. And they got all these massive steel components in here somewhere, which weigh like tons and tons. Yeah. And they had to build it all in here in the bush. And it's been here for 150, 60 years. All right, so we finished our walk to the Morning Star water wheel, and now we're heading back to Morning Star Track, which is gonna take us up towards Springs Road, because I wanna go check out Mount Useful right at the top. And then we'll have some lunch up there, and then I'll figure out which way. We're probably gonna end up coming back down to the Donnelly's Creek to camp. But I'll figure that out once we're up there based on the weather and the track conditions and stuff. So yeah, for now, Morning Star Track, let's do it. Someone has not had a good time in the Pathfinder. This Morning Star Track, it's pretty, like in the dry, it's to be super easy. In the wet, slightly different, but it still looks pretty cruisy.
And as per usual, I'm always speaking just a little too soon.
It's actually a bit slippery. All right, so struggled a little bit there. I don't want to go, that left side is sort of a little bit more sketchy, because if you do slip, you'll come across. So I might have to go up the middle, but I might also let some maybe more pressure out of the tyres just to give myself as much grip as possible. little bit sketchy. They are actually bloody slick. Just where a front locker would help a lot. Maybe, Sian, could you run the winch? No, so see that tree over there to the left? Yeah, could you get it around that? Yeah, this is like, I just want to make sure I do this safe because you don't want, this is where mistakes happen. Alright, she's on. Alright, winch is on. Alright, so I made it up that little bit. You probably could tell there in the cab, I wasn't like stressed out or anything, but I might have seemed a little bit more like, you know.
Flustered.
Yeah, I just wanted to, it's hard being in a position like, Sian's never really done forward driving stuff before, so it's unfair of me to expect that she knows the correct procedures in doing this sort of stuff. So yeah, I suppose because I'm the one that's, you know, I'm stuck there in the car, I've got to keep my foot on the brake and make sure it doesn't roll away, and then, I don't know, but this is all part of learning, I guess. But yeah, you just got to do it as safe as possible. I didn't really expect to actually come across anything that I was going to get hung up on, but that's just the high country for you. You never really know what it's going to be. So anyway, we made it through. So I think the rest of the track's meant to be all pretty cruisy. Fingers crossed. So we'll keep on going along anyway.
Luckily, the rest of the track was nice and easy, so we jumped onto the Springs Road and then across to the top of Mount Useful.
Alright, it's at the top of Mount Useful at the fire tower up here. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm assuming when it's not cloudy like it is today, there will be some fantastic views. But today's a little bit on the cloudy side. So yeah, we're going to make some lunch anyway, some sambos. I'm going to start doing some map. Just look at the maps and see which is the best way to come back down.
Whoa. Oh, you already put tomato on.
Sandwiches are so easy.
So after a quick lunch, we continued along the Springs Road as I wanted to check out a few huts that we might even stay in for the night.
We're just coming along the Springs Road to Johnson Hut and we cannot see more than 15-20 metres in front of us on the road here. So yeah, the conditions when you're changing altitude so quickly, the conditions can change so much. The entrance track to this Johnson Hut's pretty hairy. It makes me question the condition of the hut. It's just, like, it doesn't look boggy or anything, but it's just rutted. Watch it be like the most janky little hut ever.
Worse than the last one.
Yeah.
Just be like,
Oh, I can see it. Well, I've seen worse. It's not too bad. It's got a fire in it.
this is not the luxury he promised me.
Where do you think we're going to find a mansion? Alright, so here we are, Johnson Hut. The bottle that keeps the door shut.
Oh, that scared the life out of me. I was like, what is that?
Wood room. Oh my god.
Oh my gosh. It's a full hut.
Yeah, it's a full hunter's hut.
Yeah, right.
I don't know. Maybe we might keep looking elsewhere. Like it's all right. Like I'd
It's
chill out.
fine, but yeah. What? You said it first, not me.
What?
You said we might keep looking.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just not what I imagined.
Yeah.
I just imagined like this is actually more like a house.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like anyway.
Like you probably were imagining more like one like junction hut. That was
Yeah,
just, like, a
yeah.
shed.
Just like a shed.
So you could just kind of use it. But this is like people's stuff.
Yeah.
I kind of wouldn't feel comfortable using their space.
Mm.
Like obviously,
We can go have a look around.
if we're at a pinch, then yeah, it's a good spot. But
We can go. We might keep having a look. That's Johnson Hut anyway. If it was real bad weather and you're caught out up here, yeah, you'd definitely stay in it. But I mean, we're not doing that bad really. I might even see. I don't know where we're gonna go exactly. I might do some more research and see if I can find someone on the maps.
So we kept heading along the Springs Road and over the top of Mount Salma. We did come across another hut called Bob's Hut, which again, if you were in a pinch, would be a great spot to stay, but it wasn't quite what we had in mind.
I think I have actually been here before. Oh, it's not as scary as the other one. Alright, so we've done some thinking and we've opted, we're not going to stay at Bob's Hut. We think we're going to, just because of like, one, it is a lot colder up here. I mean, it's going to be wet no matter where we are, but the cold is one thing that does vary a little bit with altitude. we are going to go down lower, pretty much back towards where we were last night near Junction Hut, which will effectively make this like a day trip, which is fine as well. All right, we're finally down on the Donnelly's Creek, and we'll keep our eyes peeled for a campsite.
We managed to find a little secluded spot off of Donnelly's Creek Road alongside the Donnelly's Creek, so we began setting up camp.
I reckon we have a big fire, drink heaps of beers.
We also managed to find some nice dry wood in our travels, which was going to keep us warm through the night. With some more good tucker cooked over the flames, we kept warm around the fire for the night, ready for another big day tomorrow.
All right, so it is the next morning. We had a very cold night in the tent, but it was still good. Like, we were warm, but it was cold overall. Today, we're gonna quickly pack up the tent and stuff. I had a quick fish, no luck though. And yeah, we'll get packed up and then we might go do some more exploring today. I'll try to pick out a few points of interest we'll go check out before we head home. So we've actually got some fellas just pulled in who want this. This is grand final weekend, so today's a Thursday, so apparently it's already filling up pretty quick, all the spots. So they said if they could jump in this spot after we take off, which I said no worries. So yeah, we'll get our stuff packed up and head on out. Just come out of camp, out of the little climb to the top of the hill, and I think the fuel pump on my car is well overdue to be done. It's losing, it doesn't have the suction, so until it's warmed up, or even when it's warmed up, if you're on a hill, it'll starve. The engine just cuts out like it just has just then. I'll see if I can start it again. The pump is just, well, what Sean was explaining to us at MTQ was that the vane pump actually wears out, all the fingers on the vane pump wear out, and that's where it has its lack of suction, which I think is what's happening with mine, because it just doesn't have the strength to pull the fuel up to the pump. Some people probably say I need a lift pump, but I think if the injector pump's in good working order, it should just be able to do it itself. So definitely something I've got to look at doing, because it's not ideal having the car stall out on me when you're stuck on a steep hill like we were yesterday. And I'm trying to keep the car running while, you know, Sian's trying to organise winches and that sort of stuff. So definitely something I've got to get done very soon, I reckon. All right, so we're going back through Junction Hut on our way out. So I get to cross the river again. Sian's in the driver's seat.
And despite the rain we'd had over the last day, the Aberfeldy River was still at a nice low level and very easy to cross.
All right, so we just gone past Junction Hut and we're gonna come out to the main drag via Sullivan Track. Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming it's going to be pretty easy.
Yeah.
See what happens though.
Famous last words.
Yeah, that's it.
I tell you what, I really need to stop jinxing myself when it comes to predicting track difficulties. It is becoming a bit of an issue.
It's funny how quickly the track conditions can change from when they're wet to when they're dry, in just the amount of grip. Bit of a steeper section here on Sullivan's Track. We'll see how we go. I tell you what, it's bloody greasy. So as you can see, it's pretty greasy, and I'm kind of hesitant to just like send it up, because I don't want to like hop around and slide across and get on a bad angle. So as a precaution, we might try set up a winch rope. I can winch myself through this bit if I need to. Tell you what, these tracks, they're not rated as difficult as I thought, but once you get a little bit of moisture, they just get real greasy. I just got to be careful doing this. I'm just going to see. All right, going to get a safe spot there, and then I reckon run the winch. So Sian's going to get on the winch for me, which we've already set it up, so it's easy to get to. We've already got a tree trunk protector sitting on the tree. Sian's going to hook that up to the tree for me. Good work. Yeah, maybe do one side at a time. I have to set, this is really a problem with my pump not holding revs on the car. It wants to die.
Okay.
See, the car's stalling out on me again, pumps, and I'm going to winch in.
You'll be able to hear the high revs of the engine, and that's actually me using the hand throttle to keep the engine high and stop it from starving. You'll also see all the smoke coming out of the exhaust as the car splutters as it struggles to bring fuel up to the engine.
All right, can you run it now? Can you go change it over?
Yeah, run it.
All right, so I've got to a spot now where I can reach the next tree along. So Sian's going to swap the rope over for me to the other tree, even though the car wants to stall out here. And I've got major dramas here with the pump's just starving on me. It's not staying consistent revs. It's jumping all over the speedo.
And that wasn't the only issue I was going to have.
It's wound over itself, so you're gonna have to pull it to put the other stuff down, and you'll have to pull it out as I go out on the thing because it's bound up a bit.
Okay.
Now what's happened when I've used the winch to get up this section of track, the rope has actually bound on itself, and that means that when I go out, it actually turns the other way and starts coming in.
I'm on the gear and I'm on the handbrake. No, you don't sit in there.
I've had to jump out to try and get this winch rope free, but even I couldn't do it, so I'd have to use the weight of the car to free the rope up.
My freaking seatbelt's locked on.
After getting the car started and slowly rolling back, keeping tension on the winch, I'm able to free up the winch rope.
I think it's free now. Because now when I hit out, it's going out, and when I hit in, it's going in, so I think it's free.
Okay, do you want me to attach it to the other tree now?
I don't know if it'll reach. Oh, it might. See if you reckon the winch will go far enough to reach that extension strap. This is the thing with winches. I don't know how you combat this. It loops over itself all the time.
And again, the winch rope appears to be looping over itself.
I don't know how you prevent this. I think you're meant to have really tight wraps, but when you unspool it and then spool it in, I don't know how it's meant to.
Good so far.
Alright, we got the winch to work. Hopefully my winch extension strap reaches this next tree. The problem is when you're in the cab too, is you can't see how many wraps of winch you still have on the bar. You need someone else to check.
Yeah, I'm doing the D-shackle to...
Yeah, so just first, before you do that, just grab the green strap and see if it'll reach between the winch and the tree.
In a situation like this where I'm stuck in the car, all I can do is be patient and give clear instructions to Sian.
And then you'll have to use the D-shackle, so the black D-shackle with the orange bolt. You have to use that to connect the green strap to the yellow strap.
Yes, that's what I thought. Yeah, got it.
Good work. All right, and the last thing I'm going to get you to do, so that's all good?
Okay.
Now, if you can come, I know this is a pain, come down to the car. I just want you to check how many wraps of rope are still on the winch barrel, because I don't want to accidentally, if I don't have enough wraps on there, if it's down to near the bolt, then I can potentially just snap it off, which is not, I don't want to do that when I start winching.
Okay.
Thank you. So just check on the spool of the drum if the rope's still wrapped around at least like 4 or 5 times, hopefully. 9 wraps? Cool, perfect. Thank you. All right, if you stand out of the way, thanks, Sian.
Okay.
So with the winch rope safely set up, it's time to carefully winch out and up the hill. And you can quickly see that it was just that one little spot I was stuck on, and as soon as the car was out of that, it drove through the rest easily.
Oh. All right, good work. You're the best.
Oh, no, sorry, I just was a bit scared.
No, that's good. I see, I wasn't sure, like, I definitely couldn't get out of that, but once I got to this bit, obviously I was fine.
Yeah.
No, that was good, you did very, very good. All right, so we made it up that section. Sian was an absolute legend, did all the right things, hooked up all the winches correctly. Yeah, perfect, textbook. So we made it up there. It was literally just that one bit that, look, if I really nudged the car, maybe it would drive up, but I just wasn't feeling like doing anything sketchy. So it was safer to get on the winch, get me past that bit that I couldn't get through. And then as you saw there, once I got to the top, the car just drove through anyway. So, all right, we'll pack the winch up. We'll get up there, hopefully there's no more scary bits, and then we'll get up the rest of this Sullivan track.
Enough winching.
It's worth mentioning too, I can't remember if I've mentioned it yet, but this is the first time I've done sort of more serious four-wheel driving with the whole camping setup. So I've got the canopy and the rooftop tent on, which as you can imagine, and like obviously another person's stuff. I got the water tanks, I got all the food, fridge is full. It's the first time I've done like hard four-wheel driving with it fully loaded up. I can definitely feel the difference in the distribution of weight in the car. Like for example, I think a lot of the reason I was getting caught up on those bits is because all the weight is on the two rear tires, and the front isn't really doing that much. There's just no weight on it when you're that steep. So I can definitely feel it in the car. Because otherwise, hey, if I maybe didn't have the tent on or didn't have the canopy on, I might have just drove straight up that stuff, no worries. Because it wasn't crazy difficult, but the greasiness and the angle and like the mixture of little like holes that your wheels fall into was what made it my car not able to get up. But who knows, maybe if I had a front locker, it might have made all the difference as well. So you never know. We've got another little steep section, which I'm gonna try and drive the right way. Alright, got it. I'm committed to the line, just sat on the high left side and made sure to stay out of the rut and did it no worries. Alright, we made it off Sullivan track back onto the main drag, and I think we've had our quota of little four-wheel driving and stress for the morning. So we're going to cruise back to Thompson Dam, air up, and then yeah, I reckon we'll just make some lunch, cruise around and slowly make our way back home. All right, so we've made it back to Thompson Dam, the starting point for the trip. And I suppose it turned into like a little loop mission, just exploring the area over. We had the 2 nights, so a few days, and we got to see a fair bit. We saw some cool historical stuff. We did some awesome camping, did some good camp cooking, and did a little bit of scary four-wheel driving as well. So I didn't scare you with all the four-wheel driving, did I?
Nah. A little bit, nah, it was fine. As long as I know, I'm confident that you know what you're doing. So
yeah, there you go. I think I tried to stay, calm and just clear instructions, and it all worked out. So there you go. So if you enjoyed this episode, make sure you leave a comment down below if you want to see us do more stuff like this, because I'm certainly up for more trips with Sian. I enjoy it. And yeah, if you like this video, leave a like, get subscribed, and we'll be sure to catch you in the next one. Cheers, guys.